What are the factors that affect the spread of fire? Many factors help spread the fire, and these are weather, topography, and fuels. Weather includes wind, temperature, cloudiness, moisture and air pressure. High temperatures and low humidity cause vegetation to dry and wildfire to burn rapidly. Wind also blows in bursts for miles, igniting new spot fires. Rain and high humidity can slow or extinguish fires, while storms can cause fire activity to increase or become completely unpredictable. Topography is the physical features of an area, including slope and aspects. Wildfires burn more rapidly when moving up a slope by preheating unborn fuels and making them more combustible. Wind also moves more rapidly up slopes, increasing the speed at which a fire can spread. Those can act like chimneys and funnel flames upwards, south and west facing. Slopes have drier fuels than north and east facing slopes. Fuels are vegetation and structures. Their characteristics have a great effect on wildfire behavior. Large dense trees burn for hours and generate a lot of heat. Dry gases, on the other hand, produce a flashy fire that burns quickly and does not generate much heat. Next, what is spontaneous combustion? The type of combustion in which a material bursts into flames. Without the application, any apparent cause is called spontaneous combustion, or which means the ignition of substance or body from the rapid oxidation of its own constituents without heat from any external source is known as spontaneous combustion. Next is flashover. A flashover is the stage where the total thermal radiation from the fire, flame, hot gases, and hot compartment boundaries causes all exposed combustible surfaces to pyrolysis, releases flammable gases, and ignite when there is adequate ventilation. As you can see, the fire started on the back porch with a piece of newspaper. It burns clean for the first few seconds. And once the fire gets into the synthetics, we see fuel-rich combustion products pouring out and filling the hot gas layer. Notice the piece of compiled newspaper on the floor in the center of the room. As we start to get a roll over, the hot gas layer radiates heat to everything around it. The temperature of the room starts to increase. Notice the white vapor coming off. The newspaper it pyrolyzes and auto-ignites in a matter of seconds. Just due to the radiation from the hot gas layer, this is a precursor to flashover. Notice the turbulent fire conditions until the entire room transitions to flashover. Next is backdraft. When a fire occurs in a poorly ventilated space, it's possible that the fire will burn until the atmosphere becomes oxygen depleted. Remember that for combustion to take place, an oxidizer, in this case oxygen in the air in the room, must be present in sufficient quantity for the chemical reaction of combustion to be sustained when the available oxygen has been consumed by the fire. The hot gases and aerosols fuels will be present in high concentrations due to incomplete combustion because there is no longer enough oxygen for them to burn, and not enough ventilation them to escape. Although there may not be any visible fire anymore, this condition is very dangerous because the reaction needs is more oxygen and it will start again. If oxygen is suddenly introduced, the accumulating hot gases and incompletely born fuel in the air can suddenly ignite. The reaction is typically enough to cause low-order damage. This phenomena is commonly known as a backdraft. Next is bikeback. Bikeback is a fatal condition that takes place when the fire resists extinguishment operations and becomes stronger and bigger instead. Next is flash fire. Flash fire is better known as dust explosions. This may happen when the metal post that is completely covered with dust is hit by lightning. For instance, the dust particles covering the metal burn simultaneously, thus creating a violent chemical reaction that produces a very bright flash followed an explosion. A flash fire is also a release of flammable vapor or liquid that vaporizes that premises with air and expands, eventually igniting. Once ignition occurs, the burning velocity travels from the point of ignition toward the release point, potentially igniting the source as well since it ignites the entire volume of the vapor mixture. So, ang mahitabo is mas mudako ang volume sa flame ug mas dako ang madamage. Halos mahurot sa kalayo ang area nga masunog. O mao ni siya ang flash fire. Next is about heat versus temperature. Next is about heat versus temperature. Heat is energy in motion from a high temperature entity to a lower temperature entity. Temperature, it measures the degrees of hotness or coldness of an object. So pasabot, iyang ginasukod ang kainit o iya po ginasukod ang kabugnaw sa usa ka object. Under differences, heat is total kinetic and potential energy, while temperature is an average kinetic energy. Another unit, heat is joules and calories, while temperature is degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, and degree Kelvin. And the last one is their flow of energy. Heat flows from hot to cold, while temperature rises when heated, falls when cold. So ang pasabot, ang heat is gikan sa kainit to pabugnaw. Ang temperature, mutaas ang temperature kung init siya. Din mumuubos ang temperature kung bugnaw siya. So karon, muna ko mga nag-gather ng mga materials para sa pag-demo kung unsaon ang heat pag-transfer. So napo diri takore, napoy kahoy, mga kahoy ug posporo. Mga material mo niyang magtabang kung unsaon pag-explain sa three parts of heat transfer like the convection, conduction, and radiation. Dili nato sila makita kung asa sila nga part na-produce or nag-work as a heat transfer. So dinhi, pag ako na ning hikapon og mabatian nako ang kainit, nagpasabot nga ang heat is nag-transfer na sa combustible material which is this metal or the takuri. Og mao na ni ang conduction. Next is, nanok pa-explain ang radiation. Radiation is which heat travels in the form of heat wave. So ang iya daw pag-travel sa heat is nag-form of wave. Og dito garajit siya padulong sa combustible material nga iyang imiton. So ingon ani, kay nagbukal naman, there nato makita ang convection. Which heat transfer that occurs in fluids, liquid, and gases. So, nakita ninyo in which it transfer from molecules to molecules. Ano siya mga kuan mga molecules naman.
kanang nag-asa nga mga pagawas mo na siya na form of gases.
And that's all. Thank you and God bless.